WCHS Today with Mike Hatfield. And now, here he is, the man of the hour, Mike Hatfield.
Well, I suppose that you guys just used up your feature time for tonight. So that's it. Great. The band was sounding good tonight. That's incredible. Why is everybody here? And boy, that light is just like baking me right now. You know that? So why is everybody here tonight? What's the special occasion?
Mayor. No wrestling practice.
No wrestling practice and the mayor and John's dressed up tonight. Oh, jeez. Well, let's reintroduce everybody for those people who forget. Not that they're always here anyway. Go ahead there. And tell me what instrument you're playing too.
Oh, John Nolan, baritone sax.
Rob Weiner, alto saxophone.
Daniel Hacker, alto saxophone.
Daniel Hacker.
DJ.
Jeff Trigg, the trumpet.
John, what do you have to tell us tonight?
Another joke.
A joke.
Oh, see this John, he's such a joker. Go ahead, John, tell us.
What do you get when you cross a dog and a chicken?
What?
Poached eggs.
Oh boy, he's just something else. Where do you get these jokes, John?
Dad, I don't know.
Your dad? Oh, great. He always did have a great sense of humor, didn't he? They have a band feature for us tonight.
Yes,
they are sounding good. You've taught them well. Taught them well. got a great show lined up for you tonight. We have the mayor from Washington, Mayor Marshall.
Yeah!
And as I mentioned just moments ago, we have a band feature. And what's the name of this band feature they're playing tonight? Twist and Shout. So it's, of course, going to be a lot of fun. Once again, this show, if you have any complaints, is produced by Bergen High School. So we are located here in Peoria. You know the number. However, if you do like the show, we are WCHS Today, and the show, of course, is produced here at Washington High School. And then it's aired down at East Peoria. So if you have any compliments or anything, you know how to reach the school board. If you don't, you can merely call 444-3167 and just say, hey, we like the show a lot, and hang up. And just let them know that you do like the show, because that's the important thing right here. What's happened to you lately, Jim?
Not much, Mike.
Not much, Mike. Well, we'll just put on the old intellectual-looking glasses here, and we'll continue with this conversation. So, the glare, right? How can I find the glare? There we go. Anyway, why don't you make something up again?
We had Thanksgiving break. That's about
Thanksgiving. What'd you do for Thanksgiving break? You go any place?
No.
Is the microphone on? Yeah, okay. Good. Just checking. Thought it'd be a good idea. You didn't go any place?
No.
No. Relatives come down?
Nope.
No, so you just stayed home, ate turkey?
Ate turkey.
Did you wish you could go any place?
Yeah.
Where?
Out.
Out? Yeah. You going to a place for... yeah, the survey says. You going to a place for Christmas?
Probably not.
How about next year for spring break?
Probably not.
New York! New York!
Oh yeah,
New York. Who's going there for New York then? Some kind of band trip or something?
Yeah.
Concert choir?
Don't strain it too much, Jim.
Yeah. Have you gone on these before?
Yeah, I have.
And where'd they go last year?
The band went to Florida last year.
Mm-hmm. And have you guys gone to New York before? This isn't something that's new for them, is it? Just bit my lip.
Well,
Excuse me.
we haven't. The music organizations have before.
Mm-hmm. But you haven't? No.
Personally, myself, no.
Oh, okay.
Some of the members have.
Right.
Some of them haven't.
Recap, if you will, on what
Okay.
we've just said. Okay. Anyway, we got a great show lined
What'd
up.
you do this week, Mike?
Oh, what did I do? Relatives came down, and
You didn't go out.
no, we had a
What are you doing
great.
at Christmas time, Mike?
As a matter of fact, this Christmas we are going down to St. Louis to visit the relatives, and
Have you ever been to New York?
no, but I was thinking about going there, Jim. Great.
Spring break.
Would you like to change change chairs and maybe a little easier?
Yeah.
What about those food fights? What about those food fights? You know, the strangest thing happened today. Somebody filled up a milk carton with, I believe, chopped egg, and tossed that across the lunchroom, and it hit these fine young band gentlemen over here.
Went over our heads.
Went over your heads? Darn, have to get that a little lower next time. But anyway, it looked like for a second there was going to be a large food fight, but then oddly enough, one of our deans came down, Mr. Molly, and patrolled the lunchroom for the rest of the hour. So, of course, nothing happened after that. But that's about it for lunchroom facts. Why don't we, without any further hesitation, perform this band feature?
You guys ready?
Oh, are you ready? Don't put.
Okay.
Are you ready?
We're not doing this.
First or second inning. A big round of applause for Jim and the band, huh, guys?
Take that. That's it. But you take the second one. First thing. Okay.
Am I supposed to know something?
All rise.
Okay. You know when they go down.
Oh, jeez.
It's like first time.
Okay. Alright.
We are now experiencing technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're taking
Please stand by.
the second part first.
We're doing the dun 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 woo twice, aren't we?
Do the dun, dun, dun. Okay.
No.
You got any jokes, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. One.
1, 2, give us 3.
Big round of applause for Jim and the band.
Great. All right. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Certainly was an interesting band feature. That's one of the better ones we've had. It's actually one of the best ones we've had, I would say. And what kind of band features do you have lined up for us in this coming month here, Jim?
None.
We'll find out by the beginning of the next show, Mike.
Oh, yeah. That's about right. As soon as they walk in, they're gonna, what feature will we play this week? Well, since I couldn't get Jim to play Hail to the Chief, I guess we're just going to have to bring the mayor on. We could sing it.
Dun
Thanks, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of Washington.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
I knew I should have taped that music. Thanks, guys. You're not a bad
Is
bunch of
the
singers.
is the glare all right, or do you have this set up for Tory?
Whoops. We might want to turn those lights down just a smidgen. No. Well, what's it like being a mayor? What does a mayor do?
Well, that depends on whether he's from Chicago or downstate, you know. But well, you're the chief executive officer of the community of which you are elected. Primarily, you represent the community in any type of municipal affairs. Well, you swear to uphold the ordinances of the city and to make certain they're enforced, and the same thing with the laws of the state. You conduct the meetings of the corporate authorities, which is the city council. And there are certain things which you sign, and of course the thing I sign, which everybody likes best, are the payrolls for the employees. And the city treasurer and I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you get involved in a fair amount of meetings. You hear some complaints from time to time.
Just a couple, huh?
Yeah, not too many. Seriously, Washington is a good place to live, and the complaints are few and far between. And most of them are very accurate. When people are complaining, they have a reason to, and a good reason. It probably opens up some other areas, too. You get involved with other governmental units, with the township and the county, and with state government, and to a certain extent with the federal government. And the specifics are there, and
Mm-hmm.
some of the others. But
How much time does it take for you to be a mayor? I mean, what all is involved in that? Got a lot of time that you're working Saturdays and Sundays, getting a lot of things done.
well, I try to save those days, and
Mm-hmm.
I try to do my involvement with City Hall during the week. It doesn't always work out that way, but it takes 6 to 10 hours a normal week, and perhaps when you have a lot of meetings, especially during budget time, when you're working on the budget, some other meetings it can run up to as many as 30 hours a week. And of course, sometimes I put the city in front of my other job, and I'll go on a meeting for the city to Springfield, within to Washington, D.C., representing the city again. So, but somewhere between 6 and 30. I don't think it's ever less than 6.
So you mentioned that you have another job. So I mean, mayor isn't really a full-time job for you. You've got another job.
It's not. We're fortunate in Washington, and most of the other communities in the area also have an administrator or a city manager. We have a city administrator who is full-time. He's responsible for the day-to-day operation of the city. And we coordinate the activities and cooperate on who does what. And since cooperation is not necessarily a two-way street, he does most of it, which is great.
What is your other job?
I work for Baker Hauser Company in Peoria. I'm the service coordinator there.
Okay. Does that have anything to do with your mayor job? You did anything you take back and forth?
No.
No?
Nothing. Mutually exclusive.
Okay. How long have you been involved in government?
Well, this is my second term, and in April it will have been 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the term of office is, of course, 4 years. And the term expires the 1st of April in '89.
Mm-hmm. Now, what were you, anything before that, dealing with the government? Did you serve on any boards or anything?
No, I was not involved with local government at all.
You weren't?
Prior to the time that I decided to run for office. And I spent a lot of years in the service, and I, of course, got involved with the federal government somewhat. But
Well, what prompted you to get involved with the government? Run for mayor?
You know, you see things and you think, gee, I can do the job better. I think this should be done. I think something else should be done. And I think this should be changed. And I think that's more than anything else what prompted me to run.
Mm-hmm. Do you regret getting involved with government now? Do you really like what you're doing?
I don't regret it one bit. No, I think it's been pretty rewarding. You can take the times when things are tough and people are yelling at you, and they're few and far between. And I think the positive side of it is seeing services performed in the way they should be, and people getting a fair shake for their tax dollar, and the opportunity to do that. And I guess that's one thing I'd say to young people is get involved. Get involved. Don't wait till you're the age I was, which was a little past high school when I got involved. But when you're in your 20s, your early 30s, don't be afraid to get involved. No one's going to hurt you there. And young ideas are important.
Do you plan to stay involved in government? Are you going to go up for re-election again?
Gee, I knew you were going to ask me that.
Tough question, huh?
That's right now. I really am not looking beyond this term of office, and I don't have any specific plans to continue in office. Well, I just don't know. We'll see what happens 2 years from now. That's what I said 4 years ago too. Is I'll see what happens.
See what happens 2 years from now. Some of the things like dealing with the community here. What kind of plans do you have for Washington economically? Well,
the economy is the big thing today, and we're at the point of doing everything we can to bring people into, businesses in, to bring in the most or the greatest number of jobs that we can support, the greatest number of retail sales that we can find, so that we can reap the benefits of both sales and jobs. Washington is not a manufacturing city. Washington has a history of being some light industry and a lot of retail. For example, there are over 300 businesses in the city of Washington. And admittedly, some of them are probably one-person operations. But they also do better than, at least our forecast for this year is better than $80 million worth of retail sales in the city of Washington.
Quite a bit of money. How is that compared to like East Peoria?
I can't really make a comparison because I don't look at the figures. I think perhaps we may be pretty close to East Peoria in retail business. They have some manufacturing there, and they have a different tax base than we do. But Washington traditionally has had a strong retail business. And we're trying to improve on that, and what we've done, we applied at the end, right at the end of the year 1985 for an enterprise zone. And the governor designated Washington an enterprise zone community in, June 30th of this year. And where our enterprise zone runs from, High Street, just one block east of the square, and runs all the way to Summit, Sunnyline Plaza. And basically it's a strip that encompasses a block or so on either side of Route 24 and Route 8. It does go north on North Main. It does go south. We have a little connecting strip about 3 feet wide, I think, that connects an area south of Cummings Lane of about 70 or 72 acres, which is zoned industrial. And there are about 3 square miles, I'm sorry, 3 acres. About 3 square miles of the city is designated as an enterprise zone.
What exactly is an enterprise zone?
It's an incentive package. And it's an incentive for businesses to expand, to improve their buildings or the size of their facility, hopefully to bring in new jobs. The incentives for the business, for example, a business, let's say that their tax assessment, the value of their property is $500,000. If they put a $100,000 improvement on the building, they pay no increased property taxes on that improvement for 5 years. So that's a savings too. The sales tax that they would normally pay on the building materials to improve their building are waived. They do not pay. They do not pay any fees for building fees, for example, permit fees or things like that to the city. Also, in the enterprise zone, the banks, the local lending institutions are working on a program of low-interest loans to the businesses that want to expand. These are not only available to the businesses that are in Washington now, which we really targeted for, but if there are other businesses in the area or outside of the area that want to come into the enterprise zone, they're welcome to do so too, and they'll receive the same benefits.
Okay, now we have another plan that's kind of like an enterprise zone, right? TIFT.
Yeah, the TIF districts, the tax increment financing districts.
Okay, what exactly is that?
Okay, a TIF district is a designated area in which the businesses, not just the businesses, the residences too, for that matter, in which once you have designated a TIF district, you have an increment. And the increment is based upon both the real estate tax and the sales tax. And we have two, and I'll probably need to say where they're at in order to explain them a little further. But we're working on a TIF district for the square area, running again from about High Street west to Wood Street, and basically from Jefferson south to Catherine Street. And the other TIF district that we're talking about is around the John Bierce property, primarily, and what John has developed there is a developer for the Mount Vernon Commercial Park. And that's where the new Uftring dealership will be. Mm-hmm. And then it runs on beyond John's property west to Cummings Lane, that corner that's right west of the Ace Hardware. And what occurs is a business, for example, Uftrings, that moves in this calendar year, 1986, any increase in their sales tax or their total revenue of 1986 over 1985, that sales tax figure, that difference, becomes an increment. And the city regains that increment. In other words, we would normally get 1% of the sales tax that for anything at Uftring myself. And in the TIF district, we get the state's portion too, so we get the other 6%. So if Mr. Uftring's sales were, say, or his sales tax were $100,000, and we got 1% of that, we're getting basically $10,000. The state gets $60,000. In an increment above that, we would get the state $60,000 also.
Okay, now you said in from 85 to 86, right? Mm-hmm. Now, does this happen? I mean, is this something that's going to happen every year for you?
No, it depends on when the business goes in. Whatever year the business begins to operate in the TIF district.
Okay, so it's just for businesses that are just starting, or new businesses?
Could be new businesses or businesses that
already
for
exist.
example, Mr. Bierce's business is in the TIF district. And any increase in his sales tax in 1986 over 1985 becomes part of the increment too.
Okay, so those are basically the two incentive packages, or?
Well, there are a lot more incentives in them, but for example, they also do not pay the increased property tax on improvements, and there are some other incentives. Actually, it takes about 4 pages to tell you everything you want to know about.
This is just kind of the condensed version.
Yeah, we're just throwing it together.
Okay, along with basically there's I-74s run out here, and a good way to attract some business. Only way to catch I-74 really is to head down to East Peoria. There's talk about a bypass going in here. Yeah,
there are two different things. Let's talk about I-74 first, and then we'll talk about the bypass. I-74, if you want to catch I-74, well, there are really 3 ways to do it, and none of them are very, very satisfactory.
Convenient.
Yeah, you've either got to go down 24 to 116 and into East Peoria and pick up I-74 next to the Holiday Inn. Of course, you can go the other way and go in on Route 8 and past that other high school down there, and whatever it is.
I'm not sure. I used to take the East Peoria.
Okay. Anyway, you can get to I-74 that way. There are a couple of exits. There are 3 exits, I think, in East Peoria that you could pick up. Or you can go down to Morton and pick up I-74 in Morton, but you do a lot of jogging back and forth to get there. Or you can go to Goodfield and pick it up. But it'd be a lot easier just to go out South Main Street, take the Blacktop, Washington Blacktop, and pick up I-74 just beyond the railroad tracks. It would cut considerable time, not just for Washington, but also for people in Matamora. It would also help people in Mackinac and the people who live in the general area of Mackinac who are coming up and want to make that without going through Morton or without going over to 121. And we've contacted both the Illinois Department of Transportation. We've talked with them extensively on an interchange at I-74. And we've talked with Representative Michael, who is in favor of it, and our other local legislators have been in favor of it. And part of the problem is the study. Let's face it, it's not in the city of Washington out there. It would benefit Washington greatly. But it's not in the city of Washington. So we've got to find some way to work with the county, and the county has been working with us on this too. And in fact, they have pushed it in the past couple of years. And at the present time, I'm going to bring another governmental agency in. The Tri-County Regional Planning Commission is going to do the study for the county and the city. And hopefully we'll get that thing, something going on it within the next couple of months.
What kind of effect do you think that would have on Washington?
Well, I think it'd have a great effect. It makes us a lot more accessible to the Bloomington Normal area. And that's where, of course, the action is going to be with Diamond Star. And one of the things that we keep pushing, we keep looking at, they're looking at nearly 3,000 workers and workers' families at that new plant. And remember, that plant is this side of Normal, Bloomington Normal. It's not in the city, it's not north of it or west or east of it, it is this side of it. And we think that a lot of people will consider the quality of life in Washington and the school system here. And we think that they'll be trying to get in, and we expect to see an influx of population and students.
How do we compete with neighboring cities now to try to attract businesses? For example, like building parts for the for the Diamond Star plant. How do you think we compete with neighboring?
Well, we probably don't. We don't have the great white skeleton that Morton has. So we don't have a big sign up there that says, "Look at me, I'm here, I'm available." We work with both the Greater Peoria Area Economic Development Commission. We have our own Economic Development Commission in the city, which is a new commission. We work with the Chamber of Commerce. We have a new video presentation that probably we should put on sometime. I think you'd really find it, if you haven't seen it, it's really good, very professional. And it shows Washington. It even shows, it might show this building. It shows some guys playing a silly game with a pigskin of some sort. But anyway, I better not let anyone catch me.
No.
Anyway,
So we got 2 of them here today.
There you go. Then we've done some advertising locally, but you've got to work with other agencies in the area in order to attract business. It can't be just one community trying to do it all and so on. This is the problems we've had in Central Illinois are an area type problem.
So you're thinking that most of the communities should pull together, try to get it?
Sure.
Because I could see how that would, draw some business towards Washington, even some from East Peoria, Morton. They could get that big white skeleton, as you called it, filled up with something.
And that's really true. And of course, like I said, the access to I-74 and interchange there would really help us. Make us just that much easier to get to. And don't forget, I was talking about we've got a 72-acre industrial area on the south side of town, and that would be a prime area for someone who wanted to come in and build a parts supply type operation for Diamond Star. It has railroad frontage, water, everything is there.
Now, where'd you say this I-74 would interchange would go out by Morton?
Well,
But you're talking about they're talking maybe about a 4-lane from where?
from ICC. That's the Washington bypass, the
Okay.
Route 24 bypass. That's been in the mill for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school when I first heard about it, and like I said before, that wasn't yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But they've talked about bypassing the city of Washington north of the city. And you have to remember, this goes back to the time when US 24 was a major east-west highway. And everything funneled through the city of Washington, around the square, and of course under the viaduct. And there were times, especially in the summer, you can imagine when people used to take their vacations and they're going cross-country, and this was one of the routes that they would take. And so they wanted to more or less to move traffic in the area a little easier, and they began talking about a bypass north of the city. And several years ago, it became a reality, and it will extend. It will be 4 lanes coming off from ICC, that where it narrows down to 2 lanes will become 4, and they begin to bear north just east of I-74, or of ICC, and swing up across Spring Creek Road and roughly parallels Kruger Road north of town, and would be 4 lanes. At least the current plans are 4 lanes all the way to Depot Road, which is on the east side of town, and then would go back to 2 lanes all the way to Kruger Station and connect up directly with the US 24 there. So you would take out the double curve just this side of Eureka, and you wouldn't have that particular traffic. And then there would be an interchange with 24 and Cummings Lane, North Cummings Lane, and another interchange at Main Street.
Do you think that would eliminate any kind of traffic? I mean, don't you think we'd kind of want some of those people coming through Washington, though?
Oh, definitely. But it also makes it easier to get to Washington. It's a lot easier to come in and swing north on 4 lanes and come south, either to Cherry Tree from north from Cummings, than it is to come into Route 8. And that's a bottleneck through there, definitely. And it'll also make it a little easier to get into the downtown area. And let's face it, those are the 2 prime shopping areas right now. Are the Cherry Tree area, from Cherry Tree east to Wilmore, and the downtown area.
Okay. Any other big things we can expect in Washington? Any news you can let us in on?
Oh boy.
Any
let's
big
see,
additions to the school, like that new studio we've been...
Oh God! Thank goodness. There are some places where the local community also happens to run the schools. We're very pleased and proud to have independent school boards here. They do a great job, and I personally, I'd like to help you.
Gee, well, gee, thanks for coming on. Running out of time.
Another what?
So no chance in asking you to pull a couple strings for us then, huh?
Well, I have a good time talking to Mr. Torrey, and I have talked to some of the members of the school board.
Good studio.
And this is good. So.
Especially when you look down at some other studios. No, we were lucky to have the grid work and some kind of set.
You ask, what's coming up new. Let me tell you what's new right now. I don't know how, whether you pay attention to these things or not, and it's not necessary to do so. But I talked about the enterprise zone and the TIF districts. And we have, as I said, the enterprise zone was designated in June, the end of June. We're now the first part of December. And we have over $800,000 worth of new buildings going up in the city. And we've had nothing like that in 5 years. We've had hardly any commercial building in 5 years. And
do you see more TIF districts going up any place, or?
I don't know about the TIF districts. We'll just have to wait and see, because they are available. That's something that we can do, the community can do, can push. And it's a joint type project, at least the enterprise zones are, between all of the governmental agencies have to agree to it, to the enterprise zone. The TIF district is more or less the cities.
Mm-hmm.
It usually pushes that and doesn't need the approval of the others, although it has to coordinate. In fact, tomorrow afternoon, if you're not doing anything between 1 o'clock and, say, 4, there.
See, we got school, but hey, that's no problem.
Well, doesn't anybody take government to civics anymore? You know, this is a field trip type thing.
Yeah, well, we'll talk to our teachers tomorrow.
Yeah, tell them that you're supposed to be at City Hall at 1 o'clock for the TIF district
Can
public
we get you to
hearing.
sign this? Or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I used to sign hallway passes, my own. Somebody else do that too?
That hits pretty close to home, doesn't it?
Is that
The thing is, you never got caught.
I wouldn't admit it if I did.
I remember, didn't somebody get in trouble for that?
Yeah, you can get a lot of trouble for that. That's why we don't do that here at this school. I've heard a lot of people do it at other schools, but no.
School suspension, is that?
Anyway, the thing to
Interesting
do,
point.
go to the public hearings tomorrow afternoon and see what residents are there and businesses are there, because they'll hold a public hearing, approximately an hour each, on the 2 TIF districts.
Do you guys have like when's your city council meeting?
City council meetings are the first and third Mondays of the month.
So that's where people bring their complaints and.
They certainly may, and some do. And we start, the council meeting is at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
We normally start at 7 with a committee of the whole meeting in which we discuss the agenda and any changes to the agenda. And if someone wants to speak at that time and we have time, that's fine. And there's always an item on the agenda for audience comments.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, well, there have been sometimes we've had a full house, believe me. And other times there are very few people out there. Sometimes the public is just not there. We may have 1 or 2 people out there. And then on the second Monday of the month, we have committee meetings. And we have 3 standing committees of the council, and that's the finance committee, which handles questions of finance and personnel. The public works, who take care of all of the streets, the roads, and those type of improvements. The operation of the treatment plants and the water works, and the public safety, and of course they're involved with the police and to a certain extent with fire and rescue.
Where does this take place at?
It's at City Hall at 115 West Jefferson. And you mean you don't know where it's at, Mike?
No, to be quite frank, I don't.
It's down the road from the high school.
Is it?
How many know where the police department is?
How many? Oh, okay.
It's in the basement. The police
Yeah.
department's in the basement. Okay.
I forgot about that.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense now. Well, that was a great band feature we had tonight, wasn't it?
I loved it.
Maybe we could have the band performance in the city council meeting sometime. That would certainly be a treat, wouldn't it?
It would be different, and I'm game for anything, really. Within reason.
No, the band's within reason. Well, thanks a lot for coming on. You know what we got to do is do something like East Peoria. Thanks, guys. Kind of like East Peoria Mayor Rainey Live. That's what we need is a Mayor Marshall Live, where people can call up and talk to you and complain and come up with all sorts of questions that they want to know about.
Could we do it at a good time, like 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, there we go. It's probably the only time you are free. Just what you need, huh? To commit to more time. That wouldn't work out too well. You know what we ought to do, though, is tape the city council meeting sometime. Seems to work out pretty good for East Peoria. They tape all those. And I'm sure we have a lot of people who would volunteer for that. It's Jim Tallman over there, for sure. So we'll drop somebody by with the camera sometime. No, but we'll give you ahead of time, though. That would be kind of neat. We'll do that. And we'll have you on probably again later on this year then to bring that tape and find out what's...
I'd be happy to bring it on. I think, as I said, I think you'd really be interested in it.
How long is the tape?
It's just about, it's less than 20 minutes.
Is it? We could probably run it after the show or something sometime then.
I think you'd really find it interesting.
Okay.
It's good tape.
Thanks a lot for being on.
Thank you.
And we're going to catch you back. I'll move over here. Keep the camera. Okay. We're going to be back. Nice tie, isn't it? Paul said that we needed some color to the show, so I felt it was my duty. We're going to be back next week. Thanks, Jim. We're going to be back next week, same time, same channel. And we're also going to be back, of course, a week after that with the big Christmas Gala event. And we'll have, we're going to have a whole mess of band features and
Santa Claus
and Santa Claus will be dressed up. So you wouldn't believe how hot that is, so we're going to have to keep the windows open for the show that week. But I'll dress up as Santa Claus. No, wait, excuse me. Santa Claus will be here.
Yeah, right.
And, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in and put the microphone closer to my mouth. And anyway, but it's been fun letting us come into your home for this wonderful week. And now Jim will take it away with the wonderful band feature. Thanks a lot for watching.